I like to think of all the rich resources in the Tennessee Valley as family heirlooms that will be passed on from generation to generation. Landscapes and habitats, organisms, archaeological finds, historical places, all with a value that goes way beyond any price. Today on Tennessee Valley Uncharted, we celebrate these heirlooms and the people that watch over them. One such group is the Georgia Appalachian Trail Conservancy. With nearly 800 members, they manage, maintain, and protect 125 miles of the Appalachian National Scenic Trail in Georgia.
Everybody's very optimistic in this section, and
yeah,
they're only like their first or second day out, and they're all excited. But about, I don't know, 10% of them drop off in about 2 more days.
Really?
And when the first, I don't know, 200 miles, about 25% drop off. By the time they get to Virginia, it's half of them have dropped off.
Uh-huh.
So it's a high attrition rate, mostly because it's just not what they expected.
Today, I'm going to brave the frosty weather with a group of college students working on a section of the trail, and Club Director Bill Bryant is leading the way.
This is the Appalachian Trail. It starts in Georgia, goes all the way to Maine, almost 2,200 miles. Most of it looks pretty much like what we're seeing right now, usually without the snow. It's all marked with these blazes, these 2 by 6 inch blazes, so the hikers look for these white symbols all the way to Maine. And when you hear where the blue blazes are, the blue blaze trails go to water or go to a shelter or go to a privy. So when you hear blue blazes, those are side trails. We're about 8.5 miles from Springer Mountain, and Springer Mountain's where the trail starts. So this is most of these hikers we're going to see today. This is their second or maybe third day out on the trail.
Wow.
And they've got about another 160 days to go to make it to Maine.
And they hike in all kinds of weather.
They hike in it, we work in it.
Okay, because I'm here and I'm like, man, this is crazy to me.
So the Appalachian Trail Conservancy is 1/3 of what we call the three-legged stool. It's the overall nonprofit that coordinates 31 different volunteer trail clubs all along the Appalachian Trail, right? And in addition to the volunteers and the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, we have the National Park Service and the National Forest Service. So those 3 groups, the public agencies, the volunteer clubs, and the ATC make up the organization that actually sustains the trail. It's all done by volunteers. And we have about 200 activities other than trail maintenance that the club does. So it's both a social club and a trail maintenance club.
Okay, sounds like a good deal.
It's a great deal, especially, and the people out here, most of the trail club members are not hikers and backpackers. They just love the trail. And they're out here just because this is what they want to do for a hobby.
Awesome.
And they're not people who put on a backpack and hike for days. They just want to come out here and do this to give back.
Let's do it.
And the things that we do to keep the tread in good condition and to keep it from eroding is we build what we call trail structures. And this is one right here where we have this diagonal log across the trail, and then we have a drain. And this is to direct water off the trail rather than have water run down the trail where it creates a big ditch. But this is a very typical drainage structure, and that's what we're working on today further up the trail.
Okay.
It's about a 45-minute hike from our meeting place at Hightower Gap to the Hawk Mountain shelter on the trail, where a few hikers are taking a load off for a bit.
And we passed maybe another 10 hikers ahead of you, something like that. And we put some new tent sites in at the Gooch Gap shelter. So the shelter sleeps a lot, maybe 12. And then we put a bunch of new tent sites in right there around the shelter, so there's plenty of space there, I think.
All hikers are encouraged to sign the logbooks along the trail, and it's pretty cool to see a little bit about the people and what conditions they're hiking in, where they came from, and how far they plan to go.
There you go, hold that. That's
a heavy one.
But,
It's got your snacks in it.
well, the good thing about this is every day this gets lighter.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to town, there's very little left in the food bag again at the end of the hike.
Before they put me to work, Board President Jay DeMint has a little info on the campsite work the group has done here.
Here we are at the Hawk Mountain Shelter area. We're 8 miles from Springer Mountain, about a day's hike. So people that start there will spend their first night here. And it's an easy place to camp because it's so spread out. And that's just beating this area up really bad. One of the things we did a couple of years ago, about 3/4 of a mile from here, we built a campground with 30 tent pads. Tent pad is when you build into the side of the hill, that controls the proliferation because you can't camp on the side of a hill, but we do designate where places where people can camp. And by doing that, helps to reduce the impact on the surrounding area.
Are y'all doing okay?
Yeah, we're doing fine. How are you?
Great. Any questions? I work for the local club and know all this area. Where are you from?
Northern Virginia.
Oh, I grew up in Arlington. I learned how to play in the woods at Lover Run Park right there in Arlington County. So, well, great. Have a great hike.
Hi ho, it's off to work we go. And big kudos to these students braving the elements here instead of hanging at the beach for spring break.
We've got 24 students working with us today. Some are from LaSalle College in Boston, the others are from New Hampshire. And then we bring some of our own trail experts down to help them with that and tell them how to do things correctly and all that. Today we're working on a steep part of the trail that goes down to a water source, and this is a fairly new area, so it's real slippery. So what they're doing here is digging out some troughs, and they've cut some logs, and we always look for the kind of trees that will last a long time, like locust or a hard oak, that type of thing. And we'll dig the initial trail usually, and then we'll watch it for a year or so and see where the problem areas are, and then we come back and put the features in we need to make it safe and manageable. We have to carry everything in, do our work, and carry everything back out again. So it's quite a bit of work to get that done. Would you like to try some?
Yeah,
All
can
right.
I?
Yeah, we'll get you set up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the logs back in and make sure that we're in line with the trail. It's not like going over the trail or too deep, it's just like all in line together. So we'll throw this back in here. There we go.
All right.
So we still have to fill it in a little bit. Work like this, we can really see our progress. When we were skinning the logs, it was like, oh my God, like we're almost done with this. And just little things like
It's
that.
also nice to see like how many people were on the trail, like coming down, so like you know it's being used. The Appalachian Trail is so popular, and it's also just really fun. Like it doesn't feel like work that like oh I don't want to do. Even though it's very cold, you're just out here with a group of like really good people.
On the hike up here, we were saying like we'd rather be doing this than sitting. We've been staring at our laptops for the past like 8 weeks, being outside and just even if it's snowing.
Yeah, and there's no service out here, so like not to have your phone on you is kind of refreshing.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Not to worry
So you're
about
just disconnected, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but in a good way.
Yeah, a really positive way, and it gets you to really know people around you and really
That's cool. Have you always been into conservation?
Not necessarily. Like last year I heard about it from a friend, and she was like, oh, you should try ABC, like it's an alternative break challenge. Like that sounds so cool because I wanted to get more involved, know how. So I kind of did it on like a whim. And then last year I just had such a great experience. I wanted to be like a leader for it this year.
That's awesome. I admire all of you because I mean it's cold. Like I'm freezing my butt off, and you guys are out here working
New Hampshire,
really hard.
This is nice.
It's nice. Yeah. But I mean, you guys are out here working hard. It's not like you're not just like piddling around. Like you're hauling tools out here and you're digging.
We were talking about that too. It's good to get like a workout.
It feels better than sitting around. I'm just sitting at home on the couch.